Hi there, in this final video we complete our data table CRUD example. We will show you the two methods to load combo boxes. We will also ensure that we are able to create, read, update and delete records. When we select records from our database, the field names are returned as they are. However, on our side we are using lowercase field names for our form, our data table and our data source. We need therefore to tell the data source that, whatever records it gets, it needs to process them further to be lowercase. This processing is not necessary when fields are lowercase and can be turned off. As noted here, all the database fields are all lowercase. This is the recommended approach. The data source now has a new property named lowercase fields. By default this is turned on. You can turn it off if the fields in your table are lowercase. We will also add a new v field to our form, for the total. This does not accept null values and should be specified. We will put this on the fourth row. It is a double data type and we will make it a text field. Let's also remove the grid design border from our form. On the data source, we set some default values for the fields. The total should be 0 and the customer and invoice should be -1. We also change the sort order to be based on the invoice number. The combo box should show the customer details. Let's ensure that we load the customer content. There are two methods to do this. To do this, we can specify the foreign table name, foreign key and the display value. For now we will show email addresses for the customer. Now we tell the combo how to display that content, with the item value and item text. The item value is the customer ID and the item text is the email address. After our page loads and displays all the invoices, we want it to load all the customers to the combo box. Let's find the select all callback and add the code to load the combo there. The loading of the combo should take place after the invoices are loaded, as it will also fire its own callback. We are going to call an internal method to the combo box called getForeignData. It will use the parameters we specified in the property bag. We copy and paste our helper code. We also need to add another data source to our page that will use this getForeignData call. We just need a data source. We will give it a name and clear everything else. We generate members and bind the state of the new data source. We pass the new data source to the getForeignData call. This will execute a get callback based on the field name. Let's update our callback to reflect the data source being used and also the field name to get content for. This is the structure of the getForeignData callback. It's the data source name we passed and the field name used for that combo. The setItems method will replace all the items in the combo with the ones from that result. When our application is executing, the combo will now show the email addresses for all the customers. We need to fix that invoice ID bug. We also test our edit functionality. We click an invoice row, and the details of that invoice appear. There we go, the invoice it is pointing to the customer. Let's change this. Everything seems to be proper for now. On the data table the customer shows a number. We can make sure that the customer shows the real customer name or email address. We can do this by loading a custom query. Let's define the query to load that will be used to show the records in the data table. This will show the invoices and then the customer name or rather email address. This is going to be executed via a custom query. This expects an action to perform and the SQL statement. We will call this getInvoices. It will execute like selectAll, which fires the selectAll callback. We comment out selectAll as we will not use it anymore. We then change the signature of our previous selectCall callback with the new action from the custom query. We then bind the form to the data table and data source. By binding the data table and data source, the field names and titles to be used by those will be based on the fields placed on the form. This is an important fact when designing BANanoVuetifyAD3 web apps. Always start with the form. When binding a data table to the V form, the data table should be set to manual generation. Let's open the layout and set this indicator. Now when running the app, the customer emails will be shown and only the V fields we specified in our form. Our combo also works well, it shows the email addresses of the customers. Let's refrain from using email addresses and rather use the full names of the customers. We will generate a custom query to load the combo box items and also change the data table to show the customer full names. We register the method as we will call it by name. We want the customer ID and customer full name based on the first name and last name. We will then find the callback to load all the invoices and then call this method to load the combo using the full names. We are no longer needing get foreign data as that works internally, and now we use a custom query to generate the combo box items. We then comment out get foreign data. We also need to tell the combo to source the content to use from the customer ID and now the full name fields generated by our custom query. We just changed the action name to use the previous callback name that was used by get foreign data. Let's open and update the properties of the combo box. The field name is still the customer ID. The key field should be customer ID of the customers table. The item text should be the full name. On execution, we now see the full names of the customers. This also works for the combo box. It seems like we cannot add new records. Let's check what the web console says. The error is the invoice date as it's not specified. It means we need to add rules to our application to check required fields. Now that our record has a date specified, it's able to create this new invoice. We will update and save it and then delete it to complete the process. We change the amount to 300. We then delete the record. This completes our CRUD.